We're putting a spotlight on a constituency that is turning the pulpit into a political platform. Concerns are being raised on how politicians are misusing the altar to propagate messages of hate. Some of the religious leaders admit that the political class has hijacked places of worship and left pastors and bishops with little or no control of the messages put across in church. Enoxikolia has more.
With the heightened politics in the country, there is a renewed appetite among politicians to make their voice known. Only this time, they are opting for the church.
Away from campaigns where elections are concerned, they do not like to mobilize because for them mobilization is expensive.
But questions abound as to where the balance is between the politicization of the pulpit, which the political class seems to favor, and the current push to depoliticize the altar.
A time might come that the churches that they have used will actually deny them that privilege.
Nelson Makanda is making reference to recent events where politicians have used the gospel and the pulpit to enhance bitter exchanges. Like a whirlwind, politicians and their entourage always blow into churches minutes late for service. And after pastors hand the microphones, they make their political pitch peppered with religious cliches and sometimes out of context verses.
Wakitaka kuchagua mwizi, wafanye nini? Hiyo ni haki ya. Na wajue hata Yesu alisurubiwa. Pontius Pilate akawauliza niwaachilie Yesu ama niwaachilie nani? Wakasema nini?
And of course, they are too modest to directly ask congregants for their support. They ask for prayers.
So tunajaribu kuwasomesha mambo ya kuungana na mambo ya kufanya kazi. Wawachane na ile story ya zamani. Na mtuombe ndio tuweze kufaulu kwa kazi hiyo.
And just as quickly as they arrived, they leave, perhaps to attend services in other churches, and some taking the opportunity to sow seeds of disunity along the way.
Tangu hii mtu ya kitendawili aingie kwa hii nyumba, rais umeanza kuwa na hasira kidogo kidogo, lakini tunakupenda tu namna hiyo mpaka umetoroka Twitter na Facebook, lakini tunaomba Mungu akuneemeshe neema kubwa kubwa ndio uweze kufungua macho ujue hii handshake ilikuwa fraud.
Kama salamu za Uhuru na Raila itakuhujumu wewe na uizi wako na isaidia Wakenya kukaa pamoja na biashara na uchumi hinawiri, then sisi tutasema hallelujah.
As debate over the handshake between Raila Odinga and President Uhuru Kenyatta and the fight against corruption ramp up, many churches again have a challenge to consider whether to allow politicians to pulpit.
From where I sit from NCCK is to urge our churches, both members of NCCK and those that are not members of NCCK, to treat politicians who visit like any other visitor in the church. Acknowledge and say, today we have been visited by Sikolia. He's worshiping with us and we thank you. You can stand and wave to the church and allow church to happen as church. So that then if they do want to do politics, let politics be done outside church.
We will not allow them to hijack our pulpits to propagate their political agenda. We will be very careful. And we will alert them, by the way, whenever they come.
But how have politicians hijacked places they do not own? Money, we are told, according to the ministers of the gospel, through their positions in the society and money they give to churches, some politicians have held them at ransom.
We urge church leaders, clergy and religious leaders not to be intimidated before politicians. Not because of their money, not because of their positions, to know that they serve the Most High God, and because of the position that they hold to serve God for God's people, including the politicians, not to think that the politicians are super leaders.
But then the question is, how realistic is it with churches lining up for Harambes? Enoxikolia, Citizen TV, Nairobi.